Good afternoon. My name is Milton Grannum, and I am the Advocacy and Communications Officer here at ChildLink. And we're here with Mr. Vernon Abrams, who is the Vice President at the University of Guyana Economics Society. And today we're going to talk about sexual violence affecting boys and young men. So before we start, Mr. Abrams, can you give us a brief introduction on the Economic Society and your
Sure, thank you for that. So, as Nelson said, my name is Vernon Abrams. I'm currently the Vice President for the Economic Society. The Economic Society is a vibrant youth group, a vibrant club that is a part of the Department of Economics, UG campus. Now, the Student Society, live by our motto, nurturing future leaders, promoting economic development. We position ourselves to train young leaders for them to contribute to the growth and development of Guyana.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Mr. Abrams. And to get into our discussion for today on sexual violence affecting boys and young men, as Blue Umbrella Day is being observed. And this year, just to remind our viewers, Blue Umbrella Day is being celebrated in 25 countries. So to get straight into our discussion, what is your understanding of sexual abuse?
Well, my understanding, I'll be very brief. So it basically encompasses any unwanted sexual activity towards imposed or towards an individual without their consent.
All right. And this would be the same for boys also, right? Because it's the same
That
sexual.
is correct. That's why
And
I said imposed on any individual without their consent.
right. And sexual abuse amongst boys is usually overlooked and underreported. What advice would you give to boys or young men who've been victims actually of sexual abuse?
Thank you. That's a good question. And it's a question that needs to be asked more. For boys who are falling victim to any one of these sexual abuses, it is crucial to know that they are not alone.
Mhm.
If any boy have experienced these experiences, I would advise you to seek help from any figure in authority. It could be a parents, it could be a parents, brother, sister, or even a close friend. Having that person or someone to talk to helps, and it helps a lot. I'll advise you to seek that way. Speaking your problem, having someone there for you, eventually going on to better help. Even counseling can help you get over that trauma that arises from sexual abuse.
So speaking out is definitely an option if someone has been a victim of sexual abuse, specifically boys and young men, because we know that most times you don't find men or boys reporting cases of sexual abuse because they might look like, as society might say, they might look weak or so. So we're advising them to speak out. Now, to get to our next question, which follows similar to this one that I just asked you, do you think enough is being done for victims of sexual abuse, specifically boys?
So, unfortunately, sexual abuse among boys, it goes unnoticed. It goes unnoticed. There's a social stigma that says that you're a boy, this shouldn't affect you. But
Yes.
it shouldn't be that way. And my you need to it shouldn't be that way. You need more awareness need to be raised on these specific issues, including teaching our students, educate. It should be taught in school that it's not only harassment, that is unwanted sexual activities that are happening with females. It's
Mhm.
also happening with males. So
Right.
the first inception would be teaching these things in school, teaching, sharing these information to your young ones, having them educated on these matters. Community outreach. We can also have community outreach reaching out to homes, having these families aware of what's going on or what is happening in the country, educating their kids at home. Those outreaches are key and crucial. Having social youth groups like what we're having right now, these discussions are beneficial and will help those boys be aware that they are not alone and they can seek help. They can reach out to these organizations and have that help that is needed and there for them.
Right. And just to let you know that organizations like ChildLink and Cooperative have already begun such sessions by having awareness sessions in schools and on the streets and so on to let people know how they can not only be victims or how they, as victims, or even if they're not victims of sexual abuse, how what services might be available for them, or even educating them. For our next question, what steps do you think can be taken to raise awareness on what sexual abuse is so boys who might not be aware would become aware?
Can you repeat? I'm hearing you. I'm not
So
hearing
the
you
question
clearly
is,
anyway.
what steps do you think can be taken to raise awareness on what sexual abuse is so boys who might not be aware of what it is can become aware?
Okay, so as I said in my statement before, one of the key factors in educating our youths or parents of this situation or these activities that could happen is including it in our education system. Teaching these students, teaching our kids what sexual abuse is, how it can affect someone, how to deal with this situation, community outreaches, media campaigns, social youth groups. These are our authorities or what is it, figures that are there to assist you.
Mhm. All right. And those things would definitely play a critical role in allowing boys and young men to know what is sexual abuse and how to identify if they're being sexually abused, whether it be by a male or a female. Now,
That is correct.
what support do you think guardians or parents can offer to boys or young men who might have been victims of sexual abuse?
Now, I'll identify a key point in this question, and that is providing a safe, I repeat, a safe environment. Guardians need to provide a safe and non-judgmental environment to have that child be open on what has been happening. Because not just, remember, as I said before, there's a stigma with sexual abuse happening with boys. You
Mhm.
say you're a boy, this can happen to you, but that's not true. This can also happen to young males.
Right.
So having guardians provide that crucial and providing that safe and non-judgmental environment is key and critical
Mhm.
to addressing these issues.
Right. Definitely. And lastly, what advice would you give to boys who might have been victims of sexual abuse?
To boys who might have been victim to any sexual abuse, my advice with you is to seek help. Help, help and support as soon as possible. Don't be by yourself and have this taunting on your mental health. It's bad for you. Seek help. There's society, there's your guardians, there are clubs, there are colleagues, there's even teachers, professional help. All these, Guyana also have a hotline for these things. There's also the Guyana hotline for situation like this. You have to talk to someone. Don't
Mhm.
just keep this by yourself. Speak and you'll be better. Speak, have that information there. Speak to someone in authority. It will be better
Mhm.
for them.
All right. And I think one of the key things we can pull out of this discussion is speaking out, as speaking out would allow them to report the cases and even seek counseling once they speak out because those services are available. All right. Thank you, Mr. Abrams, for your time today, and you enjoy the rest of your day.
I thank you for having me, Milton.
All
You
right.
do enjoy the rest of your day too.
You too.
Bye bye.